Hey there, Shrees here from Pieces Calligraphy. Welcome to day 2 of my YouTober challenge, which is a challenge that I'm committing myself to where I'll be posting a new video every single day here on my YouTube channel. So be sure to stick around and just keep enjoying the brush calligraphy goodness. All right, so today I wanted to talk to you about the best pens to get started with brush calligraphy. This is probably the #1 question I get asked, whether it is on Instagram, in my workshops, online, and I share a lot about the pens that I use, but I realize people still just want to be just kind of given that guidance on what to buy, and I totally get it. So I pulled out a few of my favorites. You probably have seen these in many of my social media posts and other YouTube videos, but just time and time again, they just really are my favorite for a reason. And so I'm gonna go through them with you one by one and explain why I think they're great for beginners, but I'll also share with you reasons why they may not be the best for you. So the biggest takeaway is that there are great pens to start with, but there also may be a better pen out there for you specifically. So first I'm going to show you the pens that I recommend, and then I'm going to go ahead and demo them each for you. So let's start with the large pens, and when I say large pens, they're large because the tip is very large and therefore results in very large strokes. So we have the Tombow dual brush pen here, dual because there's a brush pen on one end and a fine point on the other. This is the Koi coloring brush made by Sakura, and this is the Pigma brush, which is also made by Sakura. And then those are the large pens. For the small pens, my favorites for beginners are the Tombow Fudenosuke. This is the soft tip. There's also a hard tip, but there's a reason why I don't recommend that for beginners. But okay, so let's begin with the demo. Here I have my Tombow dual brush pen, and you'll notice that these strokes get pretty thick. So here are my thin up strokes. They're a little shaky because this pen is pretty flexible, but I'm not worried about these thin strokes being super fine because look at the contrast I can make when I press the pen on its side and get these heavy, thick strokes, thick down strokes. Okay. The thing I love about large brush pens is you're able to see the contrast so clearly with this the thickness of that thick stroke just really gives us a chance to see the transitions happening, and I really love that when I'm teaching especially. So here I have the Koi coloring brush. It is about the same thickness as a Tombow dual brush pen, pretty flexible as well. And then when I press down on its side, I get those juicy marks again, those juicy strokes. Okay, so this is the Koi coloring brush. Both of these pens come in a lot of different colors, so it's really fun to collect them all. Okay, and then last, this is the Pigma brush. Now this one is a little tricky, but I love it for beginners because it's actually, because it's so flexible, I consider it the most like a paintbrush. And you can either love that or you can hate that. It could be really difficult to control, but look at how juicy these downstrokes are. And we just get a lot of variation in the strokes. It's almost kind of a raw, edgy look to your strokes that I've really learned to embrace and love. All right, so let's go on to the smaller pens. And when I say smaller, again, this means that the tips are tinier and therefore don't really make as thick of a downstroke. So here's the Tombow Fudenosuke, again in the soft tip. So I can make some pretty tiny hairlines here. And then when I press down on its side, this is about as thick as you'll get. Look at how much smaller in width these strokes are than the larger pens. So that makes it great for just smaller writing. And as I do these strokes here, I'm just kind of applying pressure and then releasing the pressure as I go. Okay. All right, so next we have our Pentel Sign pen, with a brush tip. Also, you could also see this referred to as Pentel sign pen with a feud tip or a felt tip, but the importance is that it is flexible, so you want to make sure you get the right one. There's also a fine point out there which you want to avoid. That one's the one that doesn't flex. Okay, so I'm putting some thin strokes and thick strokes here. I really love this pen. It's flexible, but yet it really holds its point. I think so many people love this pen because it's just really dependable, and I know that I can just control it really well. Okay. Lastly, this is kind of a newer pen in my toolbox, but I've grown to really love it. I'm actually using it in my in-person workshops now, so students get to try this pen out. This is the Bimoji pen. So I have my thin upstrokes here, and then my thicker strokes going down about the same width. All of these pens have about the same downstroke width. I would say the difference becomes in handling the pens, because some of them are a little bit more flexible, some of them have more crisp lines than others, some are a little bit firmer. It's just really your preference, which is why I really stress trying out the pens for yourself. Okay. And there you have it. Those are my recommendations for brush pens for beginners who are trying to get into brush calligraphy. And as always with anything, you really do have to try it for yourself. As much as I can recommend to you my favorites, these may be pens that you just absolutely hate, and so just keep trying other pens out there. Or the reverse, maybe you hate the pens at first and then it turns out that you actually really like them, and so just be sure to give things a try. And I'll be sharing more videos on how you can try those pens and know if they are right for you, because things are not always what they seem at first. Maybe it can take some time to get used to a pen. Maybe you're not sure how exactly to practice with the pen. And so don't sell yourself short and assume that a pen is not for you just from the first time you try it. All right, guys, so that's all I have for today. I'm excited to see you tomorrow for day 3. Let me know down below, did this video help you with what pen to decide? Is there a pen that you recommend that really helped you as a beginner? Or do you have more questions about these pens? Let me know, and that will help me just think of more content to bring out to you, because 31 days, guys, is a lot. But I'm super excited because if I just take it day by day, I know I'll be able to complete this challenge. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time tomorrow. So let's dive right into today's video. So I grabbed some of my favorites here. Oh. I'm going to be sharing more videos on brush calligraphy, which you know is my favorite. For the best pens to begin with